Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Let's kick off before anyone else comes. Welcome to the Southbank Centre and welcome to the Alchemy Festival. I hope you're all having a great time. I should introduce myself first. My name is Adam Pushkin. I'm the Deputy Director of the Theatre at the Place, but I'm also, most importantly of all, a trustee of Akademi. This event today is part of a project that's been brought to by Akademi, which is a fantastic organisation that for 35 years has been the rocket fuel that has enabled South Asian dance to fly so high in Britain. You can quote. Today's event is very much an informal sharing of work in progress. And so what you're going to see two excerpts of work in progress from the two fantastic dancer choreographers, Kamala and Subhash. And then there's going to be an opportunity for us to all ask questions of them about how it's going. And of course, we want you to all have a fantastic, amazing, inspiring experience this evening. But actually, the most important people that have a fantastic experience are the two artists, because this is part of the process of them making the very best possible work that they can make. So this isn't finished, but hopefully it's going to be a really exciting evening. And now I'm going to hand over to Nina, who's going to say a little bit more. Thank you.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming. My name's Nina. I am the Artist Development Officer for Akademi, which means I manage their artist development projects. So CHOREOGATA is our choreographic development project, which essentially it's a £5,000 open commission for artists. We also include other elements of support in there as well, whether it's production or creative. We also bring in independent mentors for each of the artists. I just want to say, before I hand over to the artists and let the work speak for itself really, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for funding from Esme Fairbairn Foundation and Arts Council England. Also, we're really lucky enough to have a variety of different partners that support us, and I've got a list here so I don't forget who they are. So obviously the Southbank Centre, which are key, Sampad, CICD, The Place, Kadam, Gem Arts, South East Dance, Yorkshire Dance and Dance Umbrella. So between us all we're able to put on events like this. So let me hand it over to Subhash. Thank you.
Hello, good evening and welcome to this intimate work in progress. I just want to say a massive thank you to Akademi and especially Nina, who's been so helpful from the beginning, sending emails, helping us out, taking us on this journey to setting up and helping us put this event on today. So massive thank you to Akademi and Nina. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Subhash Viman and I'm a dancer and choreographer based in Leicester. And the piece I'm presenting tonight is called Shan, which basically means good-hearted in Mandarin. As you'll see on the paper, there's actually not much written about Shan or what it represents or what it's about. I've done this purposely because I feel like when we go watch a show, is always spoon-fed everything, information, everything is already given to us. So before the piece has even begun, we already have a preconception about what we're supposed to be seeing or what we're expected to see. So the whole point of just leaving that poem in there is I want you to just let your eyes and let your mind do the thinking and just be free about what you see. Whether you get what I'm trying to say or not is a completely different thing, but there's no right or wrong. So just be free when watching the performance. There's a lot of people that worked with me, which are all being credited on the paper as well. And one of the things that was created through this process was how to, I wanted to bring shadow to life. How could we work with shadows? Shadow was going to be the thread through this whole piece from start to end. And we worked with technology. I'm hoping to bring in drones. We worked with projection. And we brought in an animation artist, and we wanted to see if we could pre-animate a shadow on stage and have me fight it and see what it looks like. So it was just a 2-day test. Now to do a full-length 3-minute animation takes a month and a half. So what you're about to see actually was done in 2 days. It was a short space of time. Following this short 40-second fight clip will be my presentation. And then if you have any questions, there'll be a Q&A afterwards. Feel free to fire away any questions. Thank you.
That was amazing. It's hard to follow it up. So I'm gonna try now. So my name is Kamala Devam, and I've been here for about 10 years, working with different companies and making my own work. I'm originally from San Francisco, and I just came back last week from San Francisco, doing a commission out there for San Francisco State University, and also doing my R&D period for CHOREOGATA with some really talented San Francisco Bay Area dancers. So my idea for this piece is based on the conundrum in believing between free will and fate, and how they both, one or the other, or on a spectrum, your belief, makes your attitude towards life, or unmakes your attitude towards life. And also I was looking at how divine intervention or divine manipulation from belief in divinity, particularly Lord Ganesha in Hinduism, the elephant-headed god, who holds a noose in one hand and a goat in the other. And the noose is to pull people back onto their intended dharma path, or their path of the purpose of life, or to push them in the direction of the purpose of their life. So I'm going to show you a 9-10 minute film of the rehearsals that I did in San Francisco, because I couldn't fly my dancers out here, unfortunately. So, so I'll just take you through a little bit of what we did. At the beginning, you're going to see some training in Chinese acrobat and Brazilian capoeira acrobatic genres of ground-based movements. I'm particularly obsessed with these things right now, so at 35 I'm starting acrobatic training. And then we're looking at a little bit of how that knowledge of momentum and force and speed and just the mechanics of inverting and flipping over one's head can relate to partnering work. Then you'll see an introduction of some Bharatanatyam skills, some classical South Indian dance skills to my dancers who are primarily contemporary dancers in the Bay Area, and how that can play with the improvisation of Bharatanatyam skills. So there's tasks based on free will, where one of the dancers, Nuria, the female dancer, is really pushing through the obstacles of these Bharatanatyam shapes towards her intended goal. And then there's a little bit of a solo that I built on the other dancer, Jared, who is blindfolded at the end, and I was particularly interested in seeing how he goes out of an intended pathway and then is brought back by an invisible force. And I blindfolded him so that we could see how that affects you as onlookers and how it affects his vulnerability as a performer in space. Then you'll see a few solo lines that are built on a task of journaling for the dancers, a time in their life when they felt that they were being pushed out of their comfort zones onto new opportunities that they probably wouldn't have chosen for themselves. We put this into a trio, and it sort of caused a chain reaction effect between our different journeys. And then finally, at the end, there's Nuria and my duet, also working with invisible manipulation sources that hopefully incorporates partnering acrobatics, structures of Bharatanatyam, and the momentum of contemporary movement. So that's that. Enjoy my CHOREOGATA R&D San Francisco Bay Area period.
Oh, yeah, so that means you have not enough power. Yeah. 1, 2. Yeah, still slow. You're kind of pausing over there. Yeah. Try just go for it. 1, 2, go. Oh. Now it's in the control. This is the one that went too far. Okay. 2, 1.
So if I take one foot and then the other, does that make it easier, or should I think about
So look up. The 2-foot jump.
ah?
Yeah. Whoa.
50% 2-foot jump.
You just got all the power.
Yay!
Yeah. Now see, can you balance in the handstand? Oh yeah. Good. So when you get there, yeah, now you have options. Now you'll be able to change the whole game up there. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're a great teacher.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Again. Yes. So I wait for you. I'm seeing where you are. I have to.
Right.
I'm going to be ready to trio. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
and I know when to go up because I can feel the propulsion under your legs.
Okay? We're going to go for it, okay? Ready, set, go. Good.
So in that way, should I go a little further down?
Everything was fine, so just a little more up. And actually,
I
shafts
see.
better to err on that side of it, especially in the beginning.
Right.
Then into the wall. Okay, ready, set, go.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody afraid to put your
Yeah.
legs down. Beautiful.
Keep your foot in. That's it. That's it. Down. Down. Keep your foot in. Up. Down. Good. Nice.
So from there, can you find your way back that slide, back to the leg? Yeah, great, beautiful. Oh, that was enjoying. And it's all right. That was the best so far. Yeah. Ready to let that happen. Pull your back. That was great. Nice. consider myself a pretty spiritual person.
Oh, Lord Ganesha, here in your bright moonlight, I remember now that I'm part of your enormous body. I remember now that I'm one of your devas. Lord Ganapati, please send some devas to guide and guard me through the night. Help me to remember you while I sleep, so I awaken tomorrow with love for all mankind. Om Jai Ganesha. Jai Ganesha, please tell me where I'm failing. Are you putting obstacles in my path to redirect me towards my true dharma? Well, if so, thank you very much, but I don't need your help. I'm the master of my own fate. I say who, I say when, I say who, and if I'm failing, I'm just not trying hard enough. I make my own dharma, so you can take your stupid obstacles and get them out of the way. This is bullshit. Are you even listening? Oh, Lord Ganesha, you make the flowers grow. You keep the earth revolving around the sun. All day you keep things going bright. You are Lord of the Devas. I am one of your Devas too. Help me to think of the needs of others, to be kind to everyone I meet. Help me to think of you first and to always do what is right. Om Jai Ganesha. Look, I'm sorry, I know you're just trying to help, but if there is a grand plan for me, I really wish you'd let me in on it.
Thank you very much to Subhash and Kamala. We're just going to pull some chairs over here. Seamless stage reset. And what you got? Hey, over there. Please come jump. So, is it possible we can get house lights up a tiny bit? Because I can't see any of them. So what we'd like to do now is just to invite you guys to ask questions of these artists. But the artists may also have particular things that they want to ask you at this stage. Like that. At this stage in the process. So I perhaps while Kamala's getting her breath, Subhash, is there anything you want to say to the audience about what you're looking to find out or where you are in the process?
I mean, the theme of which was the creation process of this. At the beginning, is not what I wanted to tell. It's not a literal story of my life or what I've been through. It's not an emotion that I wanted to go through. It's that, I'm trying to basically look at it as a curveball. So how can we? I want the audience to experience it with an open mind, and I just wanted to know exactly what it is you felt when watching the piece. If it was basically the emotion that I was trying to, or the feeling I'm trying to get out, or.
Does anybody want to respond to that, or indeed to ask a question that's completely unrelated to that to Subhash?
Yes, some of it was frustration. I don't see anything, but some of it's frustration, anger, and I don't know, the rubbish go. Really, it's stressing, but yeah, that's all.
One of the key things to this this production I see in September is the use of lights, like we said before, drones, projection. The shadow plays a key thread through this whole production. So without having that and just having a body on stage doesn't convey the full message that I want to on stage. This was only me just to express movement to a particular theme. And I'm hoping that it will then develop more into something. It may change, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I'm not fixated on a specific idea. I'm just seeing where it naturally develops.
Anyone else? Any questions for Subhash?
I think it was, because I sort of see the projection for the piece. I think it'd be really interesting to see the projection and the piece just coincided, maybe.
Yeah, I worked with a fight choreographer. He's just over there, Chirag. We worked together in the studio, and he was teaching me a lot of martial art movements, and I was trying to see how we can combine martial arts with contemporary and with other styles that I do. And this shadow idea slowly came up, and we're just trying to see how we can slowly build this in. At the minute, they're two separate entities, and it's about how to bring it into one complete production. What you're seeing there may happen, may not. I don't know. It's just an idea, but I just wanted to share the thought that we were going through in the process of this, making this production.
Yes.
I think the movement was very, very strong, and the narrative and the evolution of the movement was really, really interesting. From just the talking to your digits and your and that kind of, I guess, conflict with yourself, what bits of your body. So I wouldn't want to see the technology actually take away from it too much.
Actually, we did. It's good that you said that. We did work with like Connect, and it's this in thing at the minute that everyone's doing. But I agree. I think it was taking away from what we were trying to achieve in the end. So we're not approaching it in terms of technology that way. What we are trying to bring in is seeing how we can involve drones and just simple projection and let the movement do the talking. So not being too technologically heavy.
I'm going to just hold that there for a moment. Kamala also has some interesting things that you're looking to get out of today. Do you want to just summarize that?
I kind of wanted some input from you guys about your personal beliefs on where you stand in the spectrum between how much free will you have and how much is designed and set out for you. I'm also really interested to see whether or not the information that I gave you was enough for you to understand the content by, or even if the content in the video expressed what I was trying to say. Even though I feel it's just a bit of playing around, but
Yeah.
but did it start to at least?
Yeah.
So maybe a few like personal beliefs, if you care to share them. It's interesting for me because I haven't done enough interviewing of people.
Anyone want to respond to that?
Quite an
Or
intimate
indeed-
question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
Or indeed ask questions of
Yeah.
Kamala. Yes, sir.
I often live by the adage, chance favors the prepared mind. I think Louis Pasteur. And so I think if I look at that idea, looking at the movement, it's about taking someone else's push and running with it. And rather than being a conflict between the two, the idea of someone pushing you, not being able to grabbing it and taking it in a direction.
And continuing it, yeah.
I have a question about what it felt like for you to display such vulnerability, because prayer is such an intimate, private expression, particularly the fact that you're on your knees as well, and you're moving between this place of total supplication as well as complete absolution as well. So I'm just wondering, like, what did that feel inside for you, and whether that itself was an obstacle that you needed to address?
Well, I designed it 2 days ago, and that solo was based on a solo that I did in San Francisco, which is also on an internet subject. My splenectomy, I had a splenectomy in December, so it was called Less of Me, and there's just more space for possibility, actually, literally inside my body. So it already was vulnerable in that place. But I feel like as artists, especially contemporary artists, we're always like either super self-indulgent or not willing to be vulnerable on stage. So that was me kind of doing both, I think. But nice connection on the knees, if I could have.
Kamala, can I ask you us about the predestined question? Can we reflect that back to you? Because in your solo, we saw that you were struggling between both. So from going through that solo, do you have an idea of whether you feel you're on this predestined path, or are you?
It's really coming from a conundrum inside myself.
Yeah.
I like to think that as artists, like, we always have to push to make ourselves successful, whatever that means. But I also love this romantic idea that, like, there's a greater plan. We're all connected by this crazy web that we can't even possibly imagine. It's so complex, and like, I love the idea of, like, although it's never happened to me, Star Plus levels, seeing each other from across the room, and it was meant to happen. It's your better half, and we lost each other at the break of dawn, things like that. But yeah, I mean, part of me is like, that's total bullshit, and the other one's like, oh, that's totally real, And I think we all have that. I think that's a human quality, or at least I like to think that I'm not a freak. That's why I wanted to know your opinion.
Maybe it will come true tonight. Who knows? Any other questions? Yes.
Well, that statement is sort of quite fluid, and also like the way you sort of in the prayer bit, and then it was quite fluid, so it's quite dynamic, but also quite sort of static. So I think it's reflecting lots of things that you were saying about free will and sort of trying to sort of work for you visually. And this sort of that, but I think it was quite powerful. So.
Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
I was going to say, can we not think you can have both? Because you're kind of saying about wanting to be self-indulgent and vulnerable, that it's the same as your piece. It's about having a mixture of both. Maybe the stronger human beings can switch between the two depending on the situation.
Yeah.
That's okay?
Yeah. I kind of feel like if you believe in both, then you're just sort of sitting on the fence and being comfortable in life. So, which is totally my default position. It's just like, everyone's right, so no one hates me.
Yeah.
I just wonder, I might be skipping ahead a bit on your questions, but I just wonder if you could say something a bit more about your choice of kind of movement vocabulary with Bharatanatyam and kind of the acrobatics.
Right.
So it feels really interesting in terms of kind of the groundedness of something like Bharatanatyam, with almost the opposite, kind of flips and acrobatics.
Yeah. I think it started off as a personal challenge. Actually, I think Saju was the first one who started to like flip in my life, and I was like, it looks so easy. It looks so easy, and then when I do it, it's really not. I fall like an elephant on the ground, and so it's just as structured and disciplined as a technique, and it's wonderful to try to find the shape inside of that flight moment. That's really what I'm trying to find, is that synergy of effort and then effortlessness, and then finding the ground again into effort. And even in Bharatanatyam, like, there's got to be a flow, otherwise you can't get through the shapes into one another. So I'm trying for September to try to find the meeting point between the two and try to find one inside of the other. So wish me luck on that. But unfortunately, there's a lot of, it's a whole, really, I should be doing this for 2 years before I start incorporating. So it's a bit of a rush job, and I'm actually injured right now because I'm not doing things correctly. So it's going to take a while, and I'm really hoping to get the right team together in London, some really good contemporary dancers who already incorporate acrobatic movement, whether it's capoeira or Chinese acrobatic, into their vocabulary, and then try to train through the Bharatanatyam and go through that way, as opposed to training people in acrobatics, which takes a long time.
Anyone want to ask any questions of either of them? Sort of performative question going on there. Anyone else? Well, I guess the one thing that I want to ask both of you really is from your perspective, what happens next? What's the process for you both from here on? I wonder if you could just.
I mean, in phase one, I collected a team together for which I wanted to share what I shared today, and it's about jigging the puzzle around what works, what doesn't, trying things out, and there are a lot of things we created, of which I've only shown like 10%, and yet it will still get jigged more. I think I'm still going through that process of trying to find out what it is I want to share, what it is I want to say, whether it's literal, whether it's abstract, if there's technology involved, if there's something else involved. I think for me, the next phase is trying to fixate on a specific idea and just expand on it once I know where I want it to go.
I have a lot of practical hurdles ahead. Writing a grant for the arts for the first time, trying to get a substantial amount of money to pay dancers who are going to need really high skills in order to do this. Finding training in gyms around the city that will allow me to develop on from my San Francisco work personally, and and then auditioning for those dancers. It's my first professional group work, so lots to be done.
That's right. And Subhash, if I'm right in saying this is essentially your first sort of substantial choreographed work.
This is the first time I'm actually choreographing a solo on myself.
Yeah.
It's the idea is that it builds into a solo production, which then becomes part of a triple bill. I'm working on another piece with Saju Hari over there, and then there's still one more piece. So the idea is to eventually build up these 3 pieces and then tour it as a triple bill.
Mm-hmm. And how are you finding that experience of choreographing on yourself? Is that what you anticipated it would be?
I think it's very difficult. I'm still discovering what choreography is. It's not something which the idea is that I've worked with X amount of choreographers, and I learn from them the way they think, the way they move, and hopefully then take in from that to then help me develop my own solo work. I'm still going through that journey.
Good. Well, I think we're pretty much out of time, so thank you all for coming along. There's just a couple of things to mention, which are that this is part of the project, as Nina mentioned at the start of the evening, called CHOREOGATA, and the next round of CHOREOGATA is the applications are currently open, and the deadline is the 22nd of May. So if you haven't got your application already sort of on the boil, then you're going to have to get your skates on. But you can download your application from Akademi's website?
Yes.
Yes, that's great news. And the second thing to say is that the works that you've seen today are going to be presented in full on the 4th of September in the Purcell Room at the Southbank Centre at 7:30 PM, alongside new classical choreography by Urja Desai Thakur and Arunima Kumar. So,
yes, I just want to clarify that Akademi this year is making 4 commissions. There are 2 classical commissions and 2 contemporary commissions. And these are 2 contemporary commissions, and then the classical commissions are in the process of being developed, which already have been announced last year. And I think the applications are open for Utkarsh as well?
In August. August
In
for classical work.
Okay, the next round opens in August. So if there is anybody interested in creating a classical work, please keep an eye. And join us in September.
put the 4th of September in your diary now. But for now, thank you, and thank you to the two.